So we're going to create a new MySQL database on Dreamhost. I've gone to the panel here and then clicked on MySQL databases in the Dreamhost panel. Down at the very bottom you'll find, I have a much longer screen, but at the bottom you'll find this create a new MySQL database. We can call it anything. It should probably stay lowercase and probably not start with a number or have any weird characters in it, but it doesn't really matter what we call it, and we probably want to keep it nice and short. So I'm going to call it AOIR v3. I'm going to keep a record of 4 things here. One of them is the database name, which I've just entered, AOIR version 3. I'll need this for setting up my application. In this case, I'm setting up Drupal, but the same 4 pieces of information would be needed if I were setting up anything. For Dreamhost, we need to have a host for the database, mysql.aoir, but that's not true everywhere. Sometimes you can just use localhost. I'm going to create a new user for my database. I'm just going to call it the same thing, AOIR v3, and then I'll create a password. I'll just use nothing special for now. That gets us our 4 pieces of data: the database name, AOIR v3, the host, sometimes localhost, but for Dreamhost it's something specific, the user, AOIR v3, and then the password that I'm going to use for that user, nothing special. Now I have to enter in the password again to make sure that I've done it right. This is just a comment for the panel on Dreamhost, so that when I'm looking at it later, I know what it is that I used this database for. And I'll go ahead and create the database and wait a minute while it thinks on that. And now I have a new database, and you'll see it reminds us not to use localhost, that we have to actually use the host name when we set things up. And I can go to mysql.aoir.org, which is the host, and put in my new username and password, and this will get me access to PHP MyAdmin so that I can take a look at the database itself.